So this is a new colour that's just arrived. It's called Summer Sun. It's a new Boba Serenity. And so one of the questions I know that we had in advance was, what's the difference between a Serenity wrap and the original Boba wraps? So the Serenity ones are bamboo. I think it's about 60%. Let me just check. In fact, I don't actually know if it says on here or not. Let's see. Yeah, 68% viscose from bamboo, 25% cotton, 7% spandex. So the original ones are just cotton and spandex, and the Serenity have the viscose from bamboo. So if you know what bamboo and viscose fibre is like on anything else, it's got the same sort of feel. So it's a bit stretchier, and it's a little bit silky feeling from the bamboo, and it's also a little bit lighter weight, but not majorly. It's more that you would choose the bamboo, the Serenity wraps, if you really like that silky feel of bamboo, or if you just really like the colour, because more and more the kind of fashion colours are coming out in the Serenity. So like the rainbow one is in the Serenity. This one, there's a new one. Let me just see if I can see it.
I can have a look.
No, I don't know where I put it. It's one of the new colours on here. Sorry, just wandering off. This is one of the other new colours, which is just being released globally in the next couple of days. So this is called Blue Lagoon. So these new fashion colours come out in the Serenity rather than in the original. The original ones tend to just be like your navy, your grey, your black, where they keep the price as low as possible. And then if you want the kind of fashion colours or the kind of slightly more luxurious feel, then you go for the Serenity ones. But in terms of using them, it's exactly the same. In terms of how they feel on, it's exactly the same, apart from maybe slightly cooler for this one. So all Boba wraps come in this length, which is about 5 metres, I think, from memory. I'll just show you putting it on. There's lots of different ways that you can tie it, and we do have a really good video, if I may say so myself, which is focused on tying it and also all the safety aspects of a Boba wrap. So yeah, there's lots of different videos.
I'll share a link to that as well.
There's like the official Boba ones, which are pretty good, and then our one, which is longer, but it covers a lot of safety information. So the first thing with a wrap is you'll see that's pretty snug over the chest. And then when you thread it through, just poke that through there. And so at this point, before you tie it off and before you put baby in, this should be snug. And if it's loose, tighten it like this, and then down. If you just tighten it here, it will just pull it on your neck. It won't actually get rid of the slack there. Okay, and then we just tie it round and then around. That, and then we put this down, and so there should be just enough room for baby. And this is a good point to note that Boba wraps are two-way stretch, so they stretch along the length of the wrap and across the wrap. And if you have only a one-way wrap, which is like 100% cotton wrap, like a Moby or...
I was going to say that's a good question because we've just had someone ask, what's the difference between a Boba wrap and a Moby wrap apart from the brand? So.
Yeah, so a Boba wrap has the elastane in it, which means it stretches long ways and across ways. A Moby wrap only stretches this way. So to get it snug enough that your baby fits without it being too loose, at this point you can't actually stretch it that way. So with a Moby, imagine this is not moving and you're trying to jam your baby down in here. But with a Boba, you can stretch to make room for your baby without having to like poke your baby in. So yeah, there's lots of brands of the more basic kind of one-way cotton wraps, but the reason that we love the Boba wraps and other two-way stretch like Callum Blue or the little tiny Chico ones, which are good for the first few months, or any of the Love Radius, is this. So when you go to put baby in, holding baby up here, and you can stretch and drop baby in, and then hand, and then stretch the fabric and you're just placing baby in rather than having to kind of wrestle to get baby into the stretch, into the fabric. Okay, and then the last one comes up here, and you'll see that there's 3 layers of fabric. The inside 2 go right to the knee on each side, and then this comes up to here. And then first sort of safety point is if the fabric's over your baby's face, you just want to get that out of the way. You can just do it like that's the quickest way. And having baby's face high up against a firm part of your chest, close enough to kiss without having to like if baby was down here, that would be quite a suffocation hazard and you wouldn't be able to easily kiss. So the kiss is just about making sure they're high up and out of sort of suffocation. Like that. It helps when your baby's head is plastic and you can swivel it into a more safe position.
Everyone says you make that one so easy, though.
It really is. Yeah, no, it really is. And it's like with our videos and with our demos, we do try to really emphasize that a wrap is a really simple option. It just takes a good technique and then just a little bit of practice. And so if you have a wrap and you're not sure if you've got it right, then just send us some photos. You can also, book a Zoom consult if you need to, or if you're in Auckland. We do fittings on Friday mornings, preferably Friday morning because we had a bit dedicated person on Fridays now to come and help you. Otherwise, we'll just make an appointment at a time that suits. So you can see it's really soft, it's really comfy. The other benefit of a stretchy wrap over a lot of kind of buckle carriers is you can tie this at home, put your baby in the car seat, drive to where you're going and then put your baby in, and it's comfy enough that you can just leave it on. Same at home. A lot of people will put their stretchy wrap on. Baby might have a nap in here. You might do something else, and then you put them in the bed, then put them back in the wrap, and you don't have to keep taking the wrap on and off. You can just take baby in and out.
Right, well, I've got lots of questions, so should I fire some of them through to you?
Fire them at me, and then I can do another demo as well.
Yes, so I'll just start at the one of the common questions is, can you use wraps from birth, and what's the maximum weight and minimum weight?
Right, so
we're getting quite a few on that.
Yeah, okay. So the maximum, they're weight tested to 16 kilos, which surprises people because they, a lot of people have the perception that a wrap is only suitable for newborns, but a wrap is really comfortable. Probably the only reason to stop using a wrap is if your baby becomes really wriggly and you can't get it tied tight enough that you feel that they're secure. There are different ways you can tie it for older babies, which I can share some links to later. So 16 kilos is the official weight tested limit, which is a requirement of the safety standard overseas. The realistic kind of age probably is around 6 to 9 months. Beyond that, a lot of parents would choose something else. If you're really experienced, and you really love using it, you can just learn to tie it differently rather than go to something else. And at the bottom end, yes, stretchy wraps are designed to use from birth. You can, they have different kind of minimum weight limits. Around 3 kgs is probably the kind of standard. I think the key thing is that you really pay attention to the safety aspect. So always baby in the upright position, not in the lying down cradle position, which is really dangerous. So always high up, always face against the firm part of your chest, not down in your boobs, which is a suffocation risk. Firm, up high, where you're monitoring their breathing. You can see them, you can feel them, you can check that they're in this nice, secure, pretty much like how you'd be carrying them in your arms, but with the benefit of the wrap. If your baby is prem or really underweight, then that's when you should speak with a medical professional or consult with a certified baby wearing consultant, so that they can just advise you on making sure your positioning is right and that baby's neck and airways and all that's protected. But from birth is the intention.
Great. And a couple of questions around tips for using the extra for the excess fabric? Because a few people are saying if they're short or small frame, what are some, you know, so it's not a tripping hazard or tips on that?
I can show you. I don't have a lot because I'm larger. One tip would be, if you don't have a wrap already, the Callum Blue ones come in two lengths. So they come in like a regular length and a longer length. The longer length is the same as this. Or the Chico are also quite a lot smaller. The Chico are narrower and shorter, so that's why I think they're only really suitable for probably up to about 4 months, and then after that they just don't provide enough width. I'm just showing you off this colour because this is another new one.
Someone has also asked while you're tying, before you can show the answer to that other question, is are they okay for babies' hips?
Oh, they're perfect for babies' hips, and I'll show you again why. I mean, the thing about carriers and hips is there was a lot of dreadful misinformation that went round, I don't know, 5 or so years ago about that. You know, a crappy carrier would cause hip dysplasia, and that's actual total nonsense, and it's been shown now that it's nonsense. If your baby has got a predisposition to hip dysplasia, which would be genetic, or you know that from, you know, your baby being examined and whatever. If your baby has got a predisposition to hip dysplasia, you need to make sure that you choose a really ergonomic carrier, which all of the ones we sell are. The kind of like old school Baby Bjorn or Elite carrier, or any of the ones where babies' legs are in this position, are not suitable if your baby has got a predisposition to hip dysplasia. If they don't, if your baby's hips are fine, using a crappy carrier is not going to cause hip issues. It's just going to be really uncomfortable, because like a carrier that sits like that, rather than where baby's seated, that's going to be pretty uncomfortable. And also they're so tiny that they're just not only going to last for a few months. So let's just look from a wrap point of view at the hips. So, and I said earlier about the 2 layers are going from the knee to the knee. So baby's sitting and the bum is lower than the knees. That's the position which is really supportive of the hips, because it's putting the weight on the bottom, on the tailbone, and up under the knees, not putting the knees out of the hips out of place. So with a doll, that can look like the hips are quite wide, but it's just the way that the dolls are. On a newborn, their little knees are going to be tucked up into your soft, squishy tummy, and they will naturally sit up higher, like so, like that. But with a doll, you can't really do that. So yeah, so that's a wrap, stretchy wrap or a woven wrap is really good, because it's really got that nice low bum, high knees position that you can see there. Like that. Hello, baby.
Perfect. Yeah. And the extra fabric.
Oh, the extra fabric, sorry. Okay, so I don't have a lot, but I guess you could, you can just go round again. Like when you get to this position, you could just go round again. I like to knot mine at the front, but if you've got a lot, you can just, because the fabric is so thin and stretchy, you could just go round and tie it again like that, or tie it at the back. So that's round a whole nother time.
I guess it comes down to like the excess fabric isn't key to safety for the baby, because the baby's secure, right? So you can kind of just tie it however.
Tie it wherever you can, you know, and different people will do different things. I think if you have a look at the kind of Love Radius ones, sometimes they do very stylish French kind of things with their wraps. But yeah, you can just, if you don't like the dangling, you can just tie it and tuck it in like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. A question just comes through saying, it never feels tight enough to me, and like baby will fall out if I move the part. Is this normal or irrational?
It should feel tight enough that you don't feel like the baby's going to come out. So a good test is, you should be able to do that, and the baby should barely move. And we did test in the car park here one time where I had doll in a stretchy wrap and did cartwheels round in the car park, and the baby didn't move. So I don't suggest you do that with an actual baby, but it should, whoops, baby's leg's fallen out there, sorry about that, baby. It should not feel like it's too loose. If it's tied tight enough and if baby's positioned correctly, you should be able to go about whatever you're doing and not feel like you have to hold the baby. So I'll just kind of go through and show you the kind of points that you can really double check on that. And again, also it comes down to what sort of wrap you're using. I found I had a movie years ago with my youngest, and I just found that the whole thing about it didn't stretch around the wrap. As soon as I started moving around, it would kind of, slack would kind of come into it and it would become looser, and I would be constantly having to retie it. So
You weren't saying your spin was great. They like to see a cartwheel.
yeah, how about no?
Tell them vote for cartwheel.
Yeah. I can still do cartwheels.
While you're just tying that,
Yeah.
there's been a few questions around can you breastfeed in them? And which I'm guessing
You can, yep.
Yeah. And also around a wrap's good for people with back problems. There's been a couple of questions around that, and if they distribute the weight evenly.
Yeah, like you can see there, and like I'm kind of taking the leisurely approach to tying this, because often if it's not feeling supportive enough, or if it's feeling too loose, it's because you've rushed tying it, which is understandable if you've got an actual baby that's screaming that you want to put in it. But it's worth just practicing tying it. And this is again where you see, like if you see there, like I'm really yanking that, and that's the elastane that enables you to get it tight, and so you can spread it wide across your back so that it's really well. You can actually like come back round and really spread it out. The better spread out it is, the better the weight will be distributed. Okay, so once you get to this point, this is really answering the question about how to get it tight enough.
Yeah.
At this point, you should only just be able to get your hand down in here. And if there's any slack, remember, lift from your ears here. And you see still how much slack came out, even when it looked really firm. So this is the point where you really just get it really snug here. And then tie it. Make sure when you tie it there, you have it quite firm, because otherwise the slack will just work its way back up to here. It'll kind of work its way around. So at that point, it's pretty snug. Sometimes we even get it too snug, but better too snug and loosen it off slightly than it feeling loose for you. So there's your to two hips, sorry, to two knees. See, and it's still really snug at that point. Stretch it out. Oops, I'm a little. Like that. So you can see how snug that is, and then that's how you get it so baby doesn't move. So if you're still feeling after this, after you've watched this a few times, watch our safety video, which will go through all the tightening, and then if it's still not feeling right, just get in touch and we'll just run through. But yeah, you want it quite a bit snugger than you think you will want it. Okay.
Perfect. Yep.
Any more wrap questions?
There's quite a few. We'll
Okay.
answer a couple more. Does the wrap work for mums with bigger chest? And I guess plus size mums as well. We've had a few questions that came in advance.
Absolutely.
around that.
Yeah, totally. Like
We had one the other week.
yeah, I've got quite a generous chest, and I used one a lot. But yeah, no, and that's partly the reason they're 5 meters long, so they will fit any sized adult, tall, fluffy, generous, combination of tall and wide, whatever. They'll fit anyone in the family, and they'll be comfortable for everybody. And yeah, the fact that you've got big boobs or whatever doesn't matter, because baby might just sit out a little bit further. But the key thing is, so big boobs might just be out here, just still comfy, still fits good. The main thing is just to really emphasise that on this firm part of your chest, that's where baby's face needs to be. And then if you do want to breastfeed in them, with a two-way stretch wrap, pretty much all you need to do is just get your hands in and use the stretch of the wrap to get baby down to the position that you need. And then when you're finished, again, just use the lycra in there to pop them back up. So the wrap is very stretchy. There are other ways you can do it where you take them out and put them sideways and flap around. But, you know, all of Boba's products are designed so that you don't actually have to do anything apart from just slightly reposition your baby, feed them, and then pop them back up to this position. That's the key thing with feeding in a carrier, is that you reposition them up here against the firm part when they're done feeding. Let them go to sleep here rather than down in the carrier with fabric all over their face.
Cool. I've got Kerry has just commented saying that she's a size 26 waist and the Boba Wrap's fantastic, easy to use, great space, super comfy, so that's awesome.
Fantastic, thank you.
Should we draw the Boba Wrap?
Yeah, let's draw one, and you can pick any of the ones that you can see here. You can win. So Blue Lagoon, Summer Sun, Rainbow, what's that one? Dark grey, navy, or rainforest green.
Yeah. And the winner that I've chosen for that one is Becca Sykes, Rainbow Boba.
Nice choice.
Rainbow Baby.
Rainbow Babies. Perfect.
So, yeah. And there's a few more questions. That one, wait. Someone asked, is there a limit for how long babies can be in the wraps?
No.
No?
No, they can stay in there all day. You might need to change their nappy at some stage.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't recommend using them at night when you're asleep. You know, some people say they want to wear it propped up in bed kind of thing. Don't do that. You know, put your baby somewhere down, safe if you're not watching them. But during the day, lots of people will just wear their baby all day. And that's totally fine.
Yeah. And also, Boba Wrap with twins, is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. It's not part of the official Boba instructions. There's a very good Facebook group called Twin Sling. Go to Twin Sling, and there will be lots of links and tips. And I do have, what is the lady's name? Romy Hunt, Roamy Hunt. She's a baby wearing consultant in the UK. She makes amazing videos. She has got one on using a two-way stretchy wrap for twins. So it's not part of the official instructions, but it's completely possible. The other option would be 2 of the stretchy ring slings, 1 on each side, or some people will do like 1 stretchy wrap and then 1 sling. The thing with the 2-in-1 wrap is that kind of works well if both of them are in there, kind of in and out at the same time. And it's also quite a lot harder to do than, you know, tie one baby kind of off to the side and then put the other one in a separate carrier over the top. And if there's 2 of you, then 1 wrap and 1 wrap will be more manageable as well.
Excellent. I think that's most of the Boba Wrap. Oh, someone said, is it breathable?
Yeah, I mean, it's very muggy in here today. I would have broken out into a sweat. There's a ginormous light there, and the office is really hot today. But they are they've only got 7% elastane, so the rest of the fabric is, cotton or bamboo viscose. So yeah, they're breathable, but a stretchy wrap is a warmer option in the middle of summer. So that's why we get the Callum Blue, which is a really super thin, lightweight 2-way stretch. And they are probably quite a bit cooler than the Bobas if you've got a summer baby.